Okay, so in this video we're going to talk about combining the various rules, the product rule, the quotient rule, and the chain rule. Alright, so we'll start with an example where we have a product rule inside a chain rule. Alright, so here's our function, or our expression. It's x squared times 1 minus the square root of x, all raised to the third power. So you can see we have an outside function, the cube function, and we have an inside function, which is a product. So we'll apply the chain rule first. The product rule is inside, so it's going to be applied last. We'll apply the chain rule first. So we'll take the derivative of the cube function. So x cubed becomes 3x squared. The inside stays the same, and then we'll multiply by the derivative of the inside. And the inside is this product. So when we do the derivative of the inside, we'll be using a product rule. All right, so the product rule says you take the derivative of the first part, leaving the second part alone, and then you add that to the product of the first part times the derivative of the second part. And the derivative of square root of x is 1/2 x to the negative 1/2, because we think of square root of x as x to the 1/2. Don't forget the sign. And so that's the derivative of our second part. Okay, let's do another example. Let's do a chain rule inside a product rule. Okay, so in this example, we're going to have the square root of 1 minus x squared times 1 plus x squared to the fourth power. So you can see that the first thing we encounter is this product, the product of the square root function and the fourth power function. So before I take the derivative, I'm going to rewrite this square root as 1 minus x squared to the 1/2. And then I'll be ready to apply the product rule. So we have a product of two functions. So we'll take the derivative of the 1 minus x squared to the 1/2 and leave the second part alone, the 1 plus x squared to the fourth. And then we'll add that to 1 minus x squared to the 1/2 times the derivative of 1 plus x squared to the fourth. That's the product rule. And now we're ready to take the derivatives. So the 1/2 comes down. We get 1 minus x squared to the negative 1/2. And then by the chain rule, the derivative of 1 minus x squared is negative 2x. And then when we're taking the derivative of the second part, we'll get 1 plus x squared cubed times the derivative of the inside of that, which is just 2x. And we're done with that problem. Let's do another one. So now we're going to look at the quotient rule interacting with the chain rule. So we'll first do a quotient rule inside a chain rule. So we'll get the derivative of x squared plus 1 over x squared minus 1, all to the fourth power. So you can see that there's a quotient inside a function. So chain rule is going to apply first. We'll differentiate the outside function, the fourth power function. And then we'll multiply that by the derivative of the inside. And when we take the derivative of the inside, we'll be using the quotient rule. So quotient rule is low d high, derivative of high is 2x, minus high d low, derivative of low is 2x, all over low squared. All right, let's do a chain rule inside a quotient rule now. So here we'll have the derivative of the square root of 1 minus x squared all over x squared minus 1 to the 4th power. So you can see quotient rule is going to apply first here because we have a quotient of these two functions which are composed functions. So we'll do low d high. I'll write this with Leibniz notation here. And actually, I'm going to write my square root function as 1 minus x squared to the 1/2 minus high, square root of 1 minus x squared, times the derivative of low. And that's all over the low function squared. All right, now I'm ready to take derivatives. So I'll get x squared minus 1 to the 4th power times 1/2 1 minus x squared to the negative 1/2, derivative of the outside of that part, and then times the derivative of 1 minus x squared, which is negative 2x, and then minus the square root of 1 minus x squared. I think I'll write this as 1 minus x squared to the 1/2, just to be consistent. And then derivative of the second part is 4x squared minus 1 cubed times 2x by the chain rule. And my denominator is going to be x squared minus 1 to the 4th power, then squared. All right, let's do one last example. And in this example, we're going to look at chain rule inside a chain rule. All right, so let's look at the derivative of 2x squared minus 1 cubed minus 4 all to the 1/2 power. So you can see we have nested functions twice. We have a square root function, and then inside that we have this 2 something cubed minus 4 function, and then the inside of that we have x squared minus 1. So we'll be applying this in a chain-like fashion, starting with the outside function's derivative, and then multiplying by the derivative of the inside function of that, and we'll get the derivative of the outside function again, times the derivative of the next outside function, which is 6x squared minus 1 squared. The 3 comes down, turns the 2 into a 6, and then we subtract 1 from the power. The 4 becomes a 0. And then we'll multiply that by the derivative of the most inside function, the x squared minus 1 function. And that gives us, when we write out all the stuff, that gives us 2x at the end. All right, I hope you found this video on combining the various rules useful. Thanks for watching.